The need and desire to create has returned me to you. While I initially didn't really have a particular focus, I had to do something. I had to do something to deal with certain thoughts and feelings that I have been having. The late night hour can do a lot to the mind when sleep doesn't arrive and you're up and the brain is kind of stewing in its juices. And not to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but just tackling some kind of latent, wouldn't call it depression per se, just melancholy and dwelling on things that I shouldn't, things from the past and people I no longer have any interactions with. I had a dream the other night about an old friend that I haven't spoken to in years, not because we had a falling out or anything, but strangely, this may sound odd to you, but we were both, years ago I was involved with the Jehovah's Witnesses. I was raised in the Jehovah's Witness group, cult, whatever you want to call it. I was raised in it I was indoctrinated into it in 1976, around when I was 3, and I left the group ultimately for good in 2008 when I was 34 years old. My life has been better with each passing year that I've been gone, but to go back to that dream I had about the person that I no longer speak with. Yeah, it was a very vivid dream. I had a handful of friends when I was in the cult, you see. And this one guy in particular, we used to hang out a lot, man. We would do the whole door-to-door knocking thing, and then when that was done, we would go to the meetings at the Kingdom Hall. Kingdom Hall is is essentially the church that Jehovah's Witnesses go to. And then after that, my buddy and I would often hang out together, hit the gym, go to movies, go for rides, and shoot the breeze, this and that and the other thing. He was a few years older than me, and we really were like brothers. At the time, I was way more temperamental, and my moods were all over the map. I was never happy being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I always had internal conflict, because I knew that the doctrines didn't make that much sense, and I didn't agree with a lot of things that they taught, but I felt that I had to follow it because of, years upon years of brainwashing. I didn't know anything else. I was too afraid to leave, and I also knew the ramifications of leaving, that once I left I wouldn't be able to talk to certain people, because the cult has a very strict policy of not letting its members talk to former believers who left for one reason or another. But ultimately I left, and with my departure came the loss of contact with this old friend of mine. And I've thought about this old friend over the years. The last time I really saw him was, I believe, 2009, and I ran into him after I left the group, and then I haven't seen or heard from him since. But yeah, in the dream I caught up with him again. We had a conversation that felt as real as rain, and I got to tell him really how much I missed him and how much I valued his friendship and how I wanted things to be the same again. It was so weird because I hadn't really been thinking of that friend a lot these days, but there he remains, I guess, in the recesses of my subconscious. Our old times playing out again and again, and with thinking of him, I started thinking of some family members I don't quite have contact with anymore. And then I kind of began a melancholy spiral, and I had to pull myself out of it. And one of the ways I combat melancholia is by creating, and here I am talking to you. If you thought this was boring or whatever, I get it. But this was my way of kind of processing and dealing with those feelings and thoughts. Now, I'll do these every so often as I see fit to, and you can tune in or not or whatever. Hey, use it to fall asleep. If it makes you bored, just use it to fall asleep too. Use it as ASMR. And if you're somewhat intrigued, maybe you can relate and know that we're all in this human game together. And if you're feeling kind of out of sorts about something, don't worry. There's somebody somewhere feeling the same things that you are and trying to make the best of a situation. I feel better now. And that is all. If you've stuck through to the end, thank you so much for listening.